We, by Allah's grace, are an Islamic caliphate with authority and power, an entire army thirsty for your blood. Abe, because of your reckless decision to take part in an unwinnable war, this knife will not only slaughter Kenji, but will also carry on and cause carnage wherever your people are found. So let the nightmare for Japan begin.
That video, of course, came out over the weekend, the Japanese hostage that ISIS beheaded, the second one. And now, with the release of the burning video of Jordanian pilot Muad al-Kasabe, the question remains whether or not we should be showing these in its entirety. Yes, they're gruesome. Yes, they're depraved. But are we not telling the entire story if we don't show them? It's an interesting sort of discussion in light of what happened in France. Many people didn't show the Charlie Hebdo cartoons. So let's get right to it with our Sun News Face-Off. John Downs, Faith Goldy are both here. Faith, let me start with you. I want to get your thoughts on this because we showed that element of it. Mm-hmm. People know what's coming. Do we need to go further?
Yes, I think that provided that you afford some sort of graphic content warning so the viewer knows what they're getting themselves into. I mean, folks are playing it in the newsrooms. If I know that it's being played, I turn my eyes away from it. However, that being said, I think that the world does need to see the depravity of the Islamic State. Why? Because our men and women are going to go fight this cancer. And there was, at a certain point, a chorus that said, no, we don't want to get involved in another war. We don't want to go into Iraq. They need to see the enemy. A worthwhile enemy to fight. And for that reason, I think, it is important that we do show this. It's our job in the media. If we don't show it, who does?
Yeah, when they douse the Jordanian pilot in gasoline, they put gasoline all around the cage, then they light it, and the manner by which they show the video, John, it's extraordinary. Like it does look like a Hollywood production. It's first rate. Then you see this go on for 22 minutes. You can hear him scream. You can hear all of that. He's a Muslim. They did this to him. But should we show it in its entirety? I've watched a couple of the beheading videos. Yeah. I can't get that out of my head. I can't, and I haven't. Yeah. And I will say I haven't watched this burning video in its entirety because I don't want to.
I don't know why we would need anything more than what you just provided. You just provided a very graphic verbal account of what happened. I don't need to see it. If people want to see it, it's available. The thing is, we were talking about network television, there has to be some level of decency, and I think it is rather indecent. But if you want to see it, it's not hard to find. I have seen these kind of videos in the past. Same thing. I don't want to see them again. And I think that's part of the issue here. And I understand what Piers Morgan was saying, to understand how brutal and barbaric these people are. I get it. I understand it. I don't need to. The thing is, we still have a level of humanity to ourselves that they don't. And I think we can hold on to that level of humanity by recognizing what they've done, but we don't need to wallow in it. We don't need to expose ourselves to it, and quite frankly, I worry we desensitize ourselves to it.
Well, I would argue that the desensitization comes from not watching it. I mean, how many guys have we seen on their knees in front of Jihadi John in an orange jumpsuit? I'm sure, mainstream Joe Sixpack's lost track of that. I think that, we might not want to watch this, but our men and women on the front lines have to watch this. They are confronted by this sort of depravity, evil, just diabolical state right now in front of them. And I think that we can do our part by remembering, you know what? I understand why you're out there with your gun. I understand why you're risking your own life to defend our freedom.
Why do you have to see the video? Are you not bright enough to be able to understand what goes on by a verbal account?
And that's fair. I don't think that, we should have, instead of the Yuletide log on cable, we should be playing this on repeat. I don't think that's necessary. But I think to at least show stills of what's happening here. You see flames around a guy in an orange suit. Well, maybe he's going to be burnt. It's different than when you actually see his charred body.
Look, you can tell you can tell a story much more thoroughly, I think, with graphics. Pictures worth 1,000 words. God knows how many million a video is worth. But there has to be that point to which someone wants to know. And I don't think that forcing this upon people, because that's essentially what you're doing.
You can always close your eyes and turn yourself away from the TV or not flip the next page sort of a thing, right?
If I had kids, I definitely wouldn't want them seated. I don't want them stumbling upon that.
Do you think that there is anyone who doesn't understand what these SOBs are capable of?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. We just had a Liberal MP say that the reason why we're being targeted is because of Stephen Harper,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Like there are people
Judy
who
Sgro said that.
Right. There are people who are out of touch with the fact that this sort of evil exists on this in the world, and they have their eyes set on us, on these helpless pilots, for Pete's sake. And for that reason, I think we need to see it.
Well, the other side, and before we move on, I'll just throw this aspect of it out there and have both of you respond, is if we know that ISIS thrives on the coverage, that's why they're making first-rate videos. That's why they're putting week after week something so galling to the human sensibilities that any one of us have, because we're talking about it and we're going to show aspects of it. What if we just all said no?
Well,
John?
I think that's the best thing to do, because that is exactly what they want. They want our outrage. They want reaction from us. And Piers Morgan says, "I want to see it because I want to feel that outrage." You should be able. Again, we have this level of humanity. They don't. We should be able to feel that outrage and that disgust without needing to see the video. So I quite frankly think it's kind of useless.
I don't think what they want is coverage. What they want is a global caliphate and to convert the entire world, including Muslims, to their particular branch of Islam. And on top of that, they're putting out these things. So let the world know what's actually going on, what these guys are actually
they want
about.
to terrorize us to the point where we give up. Isn't that pretty much what it is?
Part of it.
So why are we giving them the reaction that they want, showing that we are being terrorized? We know that beheading a human being or setting another human being on fire is barbaric.
So then what, we just stop talking about it? Like I don't understand.
We know.
Because it's
fight
deceptive,
continues.
right? Because we're cherry picking what we're actually going to present to the public. We in the media, it's our job to keep up with world events. Other folks will only tune in for a couple of minutes a day, see what's going on. So if everyone is blasting pictures of a guy being set on fire, you see that's a worthwhile enemy. You know what? I'm gonna support the political party that makes sure that we're out there fighting that guy.
That's not the media's job. The media's job is not to try to get you to feel one thing or another necessarily.
It's the truth, and that's what's happening right now. That's the truth of the situation. So show people.
So, is there any level of decency to which you'd not cross?
Oh no, it's not about decency here. It's about reporting the facts. And the facts are there are these hellish ghouls.
But we're telling you exactly what's happening. They set a man on fire, and for several minutes, 20-something minutes, he was in agony. They're torturing people. Do we just show torture videos? And at what point do we say, yeah, we get it, and we're going to fight it. We're going to do everything we can. I don't think you're any more outraged than I am about what they did. I didn't need to see the video to feel outraged, to feel disgust, and to feel pity for the victims of this.
And I think that's a legitimate sort of way of looking at this too, right? I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that would say, I understand that these are the worst, most depraved. You don't even call them human, right? I think that there's a lot of people that understand that without looking at it. I think that there's the valid discussion on both sides, and it's important that we're actually having this chat, because I don't think that there's a lot of networks that are, frankly. I think at the very least we're putting this out there for a broader discussion, and I bring the Charlie Hebdo cartoons into it only because so many were making that excuse that they didn't want to offend. Well, these are the people in the name of that are lighting people on fire.
And I think there is this temptation for us in the Western world. We're above that. We know what you're up to, terrorists. We smell it from a mile away, and so we're not going to feed into it. Well, we're not above it, right? Because there's actually a war going on right now, and these guys still exist. So, do we reduce ourselves to to their level? No, but I think that there is a duty to at least show some of it, maybe not on.